The morning sun spilled its golden light across the quiet valley, revealing a landscape untouched by time. Mist floated over the treetops like drifting silver ribbons, and a soft breeze carried the scent of wet leaves and blooming ferns. Deep inside this peaceful valley lived a young Pachycephalosaurus named Rilo, known for his smooth domed head and gentle nature. Unlike the other dinosaurs, who often rushed from place to place, Rilo preferred to take slow steps, listening to the rhythm of the forest around him. Rilo's home was a large grove surrounded by tall cycads and ancient trees with large umbrella-like leaves. Each morning, he would wander out from the grove to explore the world, tapping his domed head lightly against tree trunks to feel their vibrations. It was his way of understanding the forest. The trees spoke to him in quiet tremors, telling him where herds had passed, where water flowed, and where the wind was moving next. But today felt different. As Rilo stepped into the open, he sensed a new kind of stillness. The usual distant calls of small dinosaurs were missing, replaced by soft echoes that bounced strangely through the valley. Curiosity tugged at him. He followed the unusual echoes, stepping through thick bushes and ducking under hanging vines. His footsteps crunched leaves softly, creating the only sound in the forest. Near a small hill, he noticed deep marks on the ground, long, wide, and spaced far apart. Rilo examined them closely. They weren't from his herd, nor from any gentle plant-eaters he knew. These tracks were unfamiliar. His heart fluttered nervously, but instead of turning back, he gathered his courage and continued forward. As he climbed the hill, a warm breeze rushed past him, carrying a faint humming sound. At the top, he looked beyond the valley, and his eyes widened. A strange glowing stone lay nestled between two fallen logs. The stone pulsed softly, as if breathing. Rilo tilted his head, mesmerized. He approached it slowly, touching the ground with careful steps. Rilo circled the glowing stone slowly, his shadow stretching and shrinking as the pulsing light brightened and dimmed. The stone was smooth, almost perfectly round, except for a small crack that ran down one side. Rilo lowered his head to inspect it. His dome lightly touched the ground near the stone, and the vibration traveled through him like a soft wave. Suddenly, thrum, thrum, thrum. The stone responded to his presence, its glow flickering in a pattern that felt deliberate, like a signal. Rilo stepped back startled. The sound didn't feel dangerous, only mysterious, like a distant voice trying to communicate. The forest around him reacted as well. Leaves rustled, branches shivered, and the wind's direction shifted. Rilo closed his eyes and focused on the vibrations. It was something he was naturally good at, listening not with his ears, but with his feet and his dome. The pulses from the stone were rhythmic, repeating every few seconds, as if counting time. He noticed something else. The pulses pointed toward a specific direction in the valley. It was as if the stone was guiding him. Rilo hesitated. Pachycephalosaurus were not known for traveling far from their home groves. They preferred familiar paths and quiet grazing areas. But the stone seemed to be calling him for a purpose he didn't yet understand. Gathering courage, he nudged the stone gently. To his surprise, the stone rolled slightly, but stopped suddenly, as if rooted in place by something unseen. Rilo stepped around it and noticed that the crack on the side wasn't a crack at all. It was a carved symbol, a spiral surrounded by 3 small triangles. He had seen these symbols once before. There was an old rock mural near the watering hole where elders of his herd told stories. Those murals told of ancient guardians, gentle dinosaurs chosen by the earth itself to protect the valley from natural dangers like landslides or storms. The spiral symbol represented the energy of the valley, and the triangles represented balance. Rilo followed the direction of the stone's pulse deeper into the valley. The air grew cooler, and the trees began to thin out, revealing rocky slopes covered in moss and ferns. Every few steps, Rilo paused, lowering his head to sense the ground. The vibrations grew stronger, almost as if the valley itself was guiding him towards something ancient. The path soon led him to a narrow opening between two massive boulders. Soft mist drifted out from the gap, carrying a faint humming sound, gentle but steady, like the quiet strumming of distant drums. Rilo hesitated. The entrance looked dark, mysterious, and unlike any place he had ever visited. But the pulsing signal beneath his feet gave him courage. He squeezed through the opening, and the world instantly changed. Inside was a large cavern, glowing faintly with light from crystals embedded in the walls. Their gentle shimmering reflected across the stone surfaces, turning the cavern into a glowing dream of blues and greens. Water dripped from stalactites above, each drop echoing like a soft whisper in the chamber. The air felt thick with old stories and forgotten memories. Rilo stepped carefully, his footsteps sending ripples of dust across the ground. As he explored deeper, he noticed ancient carvings etched into the stone walls. Spirals, triangles, domes, and silhouettes of Pachycephalosaurus. Just like him. He leaned closer, tracing the shapes with his gaze. The symbols told a story. Long ago, the valley faced powerful natural shifts, quakes, storms, and strong ground tremors. To keep the valley safe, peaceful dinosaurs chosen for their sensitivity to ground vibrations acted as guardians. They listened to the earth, predicted changes, and led their herds to safety. Pachycephalosaurus, with their strong domes and deep connection to the ground, were central to this role. Rilo emerged from the cavern into a world that felt different than before. The sky had grown slightly darker, clouds gathering in silent clusters above the hills. The wind carried an uneasy stillness, and the trees swayed with a cautious rhythm. Rilo pressed his dome to the ground. The trembling was faint but present, like a heartbeat growing stronger. He hurried down the slope, moving faster than he ever had. Leaves brushed against his sides, branches rustled above him, and small creatures scurried out of his path. He was no longer wandering. He was on a mission. When he reached the central grove where his herd lived, he found them grazing peacefully. None of them sensed the danger. The younger Pachycephalosauruses played near the ferns, tapping their domes gently in a rhythm, while the elders rested in the shade. Rilo approached the elders first, lowering his head respectfully. The lead elder, a wise dinosaur named Oramo, lifted his gaze. "Rilo, you look troubled," Oramo said in the calm, rumbling tones of their kind. As the tremors slowly settled, a calm silence returned to the valley. Dust hovered in the air, drifting gently like soft fog. The trees below swayed in relief, and the sky began to brighten as sunlight broke through the clouds again. Rilo stood proudly on the plateau, his heart steady, his dome warm from the journey. Behind him, the herd began to relax. The young dinosaurs bounded about playfully again, reassured that the danger had passed. The elders gathered near Oramo, quietly discussing the tremor and the remarkably accurate guidance Rilo had given. Oramo approached Rilo with a steady, proud stride. "You have done more than lead us," the elder said. "You have protected us all,